Now, Eyewitness Sports.
Hey, welcome to Double OT with Maury Hirschcourt. I'm Yanni Caracas. We are Ruthie-less this week, scheduling conflicts, but plenty to chat about. Very Antonio Brown-centric, Maury.
Yes.
You've been there the last 2 days. We'll start with this. The ultimate question. We taped this, to be clear. It's 8:10 on a Thursday. Do you think he plays 1 o'clock Sunday in Miami?
Oh, why would you get him if he's not going to play right away, right? I think that's kind of the ideology of Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, this entire Patriots coaching staff. If you're going to get a guy like this, why not put him on the field? Even if it's for a couple plays, use him as a decoy. Maybe he just runs a couple post patterns, maybe a couple flies right down the field, uses speed. Tom Brady doesn't need, too much practice time with one of the best receivers. However, maybe they don't need him to play against the Dolphins. Maybe they don't feel he's up to speed, kind of like a Josh Gordon situation of last year when they brought him in. He waited a game or two. So I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a game-time decision. My gut says that he's going to play, though.
I agree, too. From a logistical standpoint, as of now, from the league, he's not on the exempt list as we tape this on a Thursday. It's a civil case. So what will happen between now and Saturday in terms of any sort of repercussion or penalty to him that would prevent him from playing? He's been practicing. If you practice, the intention is to play. Now, Demaryius Thomas was practicing last week, was a healthy scratch, and was traded. But I think getting him out there, Maury, almost moves the narrative along, right? Changes the narrative, I should say, because now it's like, when's he going to play? Did the Patriots, was this an internal punishment from them to sit him for week 1? So I think you get him out there, you play him, and then that's sort of over with. You still deal with the sexual assault allegation moving forward, but he's on the team, he's played a game. I was surprised he was out there yesterday practicing, but today he got his number, he's been out there, and I think Josh McDaniels, strictly as a play caller, is probably licking his chops, right? Being like, this is fun. I have this brand new toy. And I'll never forget in 2007 with Randy Moss, he didn't play a whole lot that preseason. I don't know if he was banged up or whatever. But week 1, they were just airing it out to him. And I remember watching, initially being like, what's Moss going to look like week 1? We haven't seen him. He wasn't that great with the Raiders. And then they were all in on Moss. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got a fair amount of targets. It's likely he gets 4 catches, 68 yards, maybe a touchdown, but I think he's going to play, barring something happening with this lawsuit in the next 48 hours or whatever.
What about if he's out there and obviously he wants targets? He wants 7, 8, 9, 10 targets, double-digit targets, and the Patriots are afraid he's going to say something, or the Patriots are like, no, he's not up to speed, and maybe it's just like, let's just keep him off to the side and wait another week or two until he's fully engrossed in the game plan. Because for right now, it's like you want to keep him happy, and him being happy makes the Patriots successful on the field and off the field. They don't have to worry about distractions off the field. And when he's on the field and he's producing, then obviously he's going to help your team.
And we'll talk about this moving forward if he sticks around and behaves. But if he's complaining about touches right away, they're going to have big issues. Because as we know, the Patriots are game plan specific every week. So if there's a game they want to run the ball 40 times and Brady only throws it 20, guess what, Antonio Brown? You're not getting all the touches you want to see. So that is something to watch for. But it's almost good that it's in Miami. It's not home. It's against a bad team. So he could be great. He could contribute a little bit, but I think they win the game regardless, and he doesn't have to be a key part of whether or not they win or lose. All right, next one. How will Brown impact the Pats' offense? Yeah, we are right now. Go ahead, walk by.
Antonio Brown? Do you have anything to say about Antonio Brown? No?
Yeah, we have you. You can't really walk out of here, huh? Tony Petrarca, everyone, our chief. No, you can walk by. Walk by that. Walk by that camera right there. Tony, walk by that.
Give him a little wave.
That camera. All right. How will he impact the offense? All right, so this is a stat that came out of last week's game, as the Patriots had more formations without a tight end in that one game than all of last year. So they, without Gronk, have decided, all right, the tight end position isn't just going to be a huge part of our offense. He is going to command, he's going to be that elite weapon that Gronk was and the Patriots have had in recent years. He's going to command a lot of attention. He's a home run threat, but he can also be a guy who is just running intermediate routes and is more inside instead of just being outside. He's so diverse with his route tree, and he's going to command attention that enables Edelman to be open and James White. I think Josh McDaniels has had such a good I think he's a great play caller, but the last couple of years he's gotten so creative. So I think he obviously is going to be great for the Patriot offense. And if Brady's long ball is as accurate as it was on Sunday night, that keeps the defense honest, where they can't put everyone in the box if everything is short and intermediate. So sky's the limit.
I think he's the queen on the chessboard that you can kind of put everywhere, in layman's terms. I think this is how he impacts the Patriots offense. I heard a stat that Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown in 2013 were the most pressed wide receivers. So cornerbacks and DBs pressing them close to the line of scrimmage to hopefully bump them, to get them off their route, to make them uncomfortable. Now that you have two guys, okay, sure, Antonio Brown's out on the field, maybe opposite Josh Gordon, they both get pressed. Well, then, like you were just saying, it opens up room for Phil Dorsett, Mr. Reliable, Julian Edelman, Tom Brady's favorite target, and then obviously James White, Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, the other running backs that can get into the passing game. So I think as much of an impact as he's going to be in catches and in terms of yards and touchdowns, I think it's going to be a lot of decoying at the time. I think McDaniels is going to say, hey, you're out on the field for this play or that play, and we're just going to keep you out there, and there's going to be teams that are going to have to double team you, so it opens up avenues for other players.
You saw him actually catch passes today. Were you impressed with him?
Yeah, I mean, they were high point fades to the back of the end zone. Tom Brady was throwing them as Troy Brown held one of those like pads where he's whacking the wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, he's athletic. First of all, he's small.
Yeah.
Ruthie and I were saying that yesterday. He's only 5'10". You think of him as a Josh Gordon or a Demaryius Thomas in stature type of a guy. 5'10", but yeah, I mean, he gets up. And, I mean, great fundamentals in terms of going to high point a ball and then pulling it away from the defender as opposed to just getting it and pulling it down, keeping the ball exposed to a defender where they can slap the ball away. So the fundamentals are there and the physical attributes are there. A little smaller than I expected, but that only means he can play more positions.
All right, I was asked this question on radio today. I want to hear your answer. Will he last the entire season?
I think
in Foxborough.
In Foxborough,
obviously.
Yeah. I think kind of like what Gresh was saying week one of New England Nation, if you tune into New England Nation, you're betting on somebody that just has a track record of not playing all 16 games. When the question's for Josh Gordon, it's like, well, it's a substance abuse issue. For Antonio Brown, it's a behavioral issue. So I think if he behaves, and the track record for the Patriots in bringing in these types of outlandish personalities before has worked, I think it'll work. We saw him at the TB12 training facility after practice Thursday night on his Instagram Live, as he loves social media. But I think if his behavior stays in line and the guys keep him in check, I think he's going to last here in New England, and I think they're going to do their best to try to keep him here next year as well.
It's sort of a 50-50 proposition. Everything you're saying, if things go well, the Patriots have the right culture, they've succeeded with people who had other issues, behavioral or off the field. But between the lawsuit that's ongoing and then any number of things that could happen between now and January, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Is it something where he's doing a social media report where he's maybe ragging on Belichick or giving away state secrets or anything that Bill Belichick doesn't stand for? It could be that as easily as it could be he's on the exempt list and something happens where maybe there's criminal charges against him in this allegation. So between those two options, I think he's addicted to social media.
Yes.
He loves the attention. This is something that many millennials in our country, I think, are struggling with. He probably just stares at his phone, sees how many retweets, how many like it'd been, 24, 48, 72 hours since he did anything. Right. And it's almost like an alcoholic who needs a drink. He's like, give me my phone, I need to do something. So unless Bill beats it into him so convincingly that he just stays off that stuff, or maybe Tom's like, get off. I mean, the Instagram Live was harmless by and large tonight.
Yes.
There was a lot of like, I'm working here, credit to God. There's a lot of stuff like that. Nothing sort of controversial, but too many banana peels on the road that he can slip up on.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right.
It's hard to say.
Last one. Pats, Dolphins, 19-point favorites. We're going to give our predictions on New England Nation, but we can give them tonight as well. How does this one go? And do the Pats cover 19 points?
I think so. I think if you have Tom Brady on your fantasy team this week.
I do, actually.
You do.
Yeah.
I think that's a great play. I mean, the Dolphins were obliterated by a Ravens offense that is JV-like compared
Lamar Jackson, stock?
I wouldn't say that, but in terms of talent across the board. I think it's hard. Obviously, Brian Flores knows the Patriots. He was with the Patriots for close to 15 years. Mike Vrabel last year, and the Titans beat the Pats. Matt Patricia and the Dolphins beat the,
I don't think that's
Lions.
Going this way this year.
I don't think so either. And I think Flores has a lot of work to do in Miami. A lot of players supposedly want to get out of there, talking to their agents. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Patriots are going to be up big. I think I could see maybe a close first quarter, but I think eventually the Patriots do run away with it. The score I gave was 31-9, I think I gave you. 31-9.
I'm 31-10. We're pretty close. I think they cover.
Okay.
I think the Patriots easily get into the 30s. I don't trust the Dolphins to score more than the low teens.
Sure.
Although Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's been on every AFC East team in this division besides the Pats, once in a while has those crazy games. I just don't think they have the talent. And I don't know what the weather forecast is. Tony, what's the weather in Miami Sunday? Warm, humid 80s.
Typical.
It's one thing if you're up here practicing in the cold,
Sure.
and then you go down there and it's sort of shock, but it's been warm here.
Yep.
I think it's going to be warm tomorrow.
Yep.
So I don't think the heat should be a factor. And I actually think this distraction week, like I think when they actually kick the ball off, the players are going to, and I don't even know how much of a distraction this was. I mean, the captains answered questions yesterday. Guys like Philip Dorsett and Stephon Gilmore were answering them today. It's not like all 53 guys were put into a room with a big light on them and asked a million Antonio Brown questions. And if they stay off social media, I don't know how big of a much the outside noise even gets to the majority of this team. But I think once they kick the ball off, they're going to be excited to play. 3-5 on the road last year. They want to turn that streak around. And miracle in Miami. I feel like there's a lot of times, usually in December, we sort of poo-poo these divisional games because the Pats are always overmatching the opponent. But I think they have a lot to play for on Sunday, so I think they cover. And if we're looking ahead, Sam Darnold's got mono, which I thought was for teenagers. I'm confused by
He's
this.
closer to a teenager than most NFL athletes.
Jets, Bills, help me out here. Redskins, Giants.
Right.
They're going to be, whoever their next four are, I think those are them. They're going to be 6-0.
Right.
Then it's the Cleveland, who remains to be seen if they're good. But Baltimore's, Phillies, Dallas, KC.
Yeah.
They have a tough run there in November. But
sure.
I think they're going to be running the undefeated streak well into October.
I was 14-2 from the get-go.
Before
Antonio Brown.
12-4.
I think
probably, if I were to hedge right now, I'd probably say 13-3.
Yeah, sure. I'd go 15-1 or 16-0 as easily as 14-2.
You don't want 16-0. We've been through there. Too much pressure. You don't want to be undefeated. All right, that'll do it for the latest episode of Double OT. Catch us on New England Nation Sunday morning. Patriots game on WPRI 12. Patriot Wrap Sunday night. For Maury Hirschgordon, I'm Yannick Crockett. See you next time.